Hello everyone, my name is Lamin Jai and this is News Review. Coming up, the solo Sandeng home construction project has been finally launched after an over $800,000 in GoFundMe money. Also coming up, the spokesman of decriminalization of cannabis will be speaking to me on a new campaign aimed at decriminalizing marijuana or cannabis in the Gambia. Also, I'll be speaking to Fatu on our upcoming awards slated for 14 March. These and more coming up, but as usual, a review of the newspapers I have today, Monday, the 3rd of February. I have Standard, I also have The Point. I will begin with the Standard. Then, the lead story saying APRC deputy spokesman says banning 3 years Jatna too harsh. Also, Gambia gets $25 million housing project. Lawyer Jallo speaks on Yakumba's case. Also, Bakau gets new alcalo. And also 12 convicted for false acquisition of Gambian documents. Those are the major stories on the Standard today. The deputy spokesman of the opposition APRC has said the Gambia government's decision to ban the 3 years Jatna movement is too harsh. Speaking to the Standard, Duduja said the movement has the right to exist. Also on the Standard, Group Consortium Africa, a leading housing provider in Africa, has signed a $25 million housing project with its Gambian partners yesterday in Banjul. The initiative is launched to address the dire housing needs of low-income earners in the country. The project will construct 3,500 houses not later than July, according to officials. Lawyer Jallo speaks on Yakumba's case. Ibrahim Jallo, one of the lawyers who supported President Adam Barrow in the trial of Yakumba Jete, has said he welcomes the decision taken by the Supreme Court, which declared that the revocation of our nomination was unconstitutional. I seek to demonstrate that the Supreme Court, as the final court of the land, has done an inestimable good to people of the Gambia and through its wise decision handed down in Yakumba Jaite's case, Jallo told the Standard. Bakau gets new alcalo. Following the death of Luntan Jaite 2 months ago, the town of Bakau has got a new alcalo. He is Dudu Bojang of Old Bakau. Bojang, 61, briefly served in the position some years back before it was given back to the late Luntan Jaite. 12 convicted for false accusation of Gambian documents. At least 12 people have been convicted on charges that they illegally conspired to acquire or help non-Gambians fraudulently get Gambian documents, senior officials of the Gambia Immigration Department disclosed to journalists on Friday. Let's see what The Point is saying. Their lead story is saying Gambia debunks death of Abdul Dabo as totally false. My party urges Barrow to convene national dialogue. GDC challenges security to be champions of never again. That's the slogan, never again there. As UK quits the EU, Senegambians in Europe express frustration. So according to The Point's lead story, since the 26th January of Operation 3 Years Jatna's demonstration, social media reports have been persistently alleging the death of Abdul Dabo, who was struck by a stone on his jaws. However, this happens to be totally false, according to government spokesperson Ibrahima G. Sankare. I think also my party urges Barrow to convene national dialogue. My Ahmed Fadi, the leader of Gambia Moral Congress, has called on the Barrow government or President Barrow to take the lead for national dialogue, arguing that political leaders must ignore political consideration and put the nation first. GDC challenges security to be champions of never again. In a news release, the Gambia Democratic Congress has urged that security forces must guarantee safety and security in any procession in the new Gambia and try to become champions of the never again slogan. Pump price reduces. According to a news release from the Minister of Finance, the pump price has been reduced with effect from 1st of February 2020. Diesel, which was $55, is now reduced to $54.90, and petrol, which was $55, is now reduced to $52.60. In January, both fuel and diesel cost $55 per liter. Yes, I think that's just about it for the newspapers. We have some stories that we will now bring you. The solo Sandeng home construction project has been finally launched. The project is for the completion of the house of the late political activist who died in 2016. The launch of the project was held at the house in Brufut on Friday. More in this report. The launch marked the high point of an arduous fundraising campaign fronted by Gambians in the diaspora.
People both in the diaspora and within the country over the last 1 year, contributed immensely. They did whatever they could in dollars and dollars and pound sterlings and euros and everything that you can name, so that we can come together as a country to say thank you. We can come together as a country that can say, you know what, yes, Mr. Sandeng, you gave all you got, including your life, but we are here and we still care for you and for all those you care for. And really this has been a very, hard fought battle, and it's still ongoing, because raising all the money that is needed to complete this house has been a challenge. We have so far raised 884,000 plus, almost 889,000 dollars. And when we approach good people in country, we got Mohamed Jagana, as well as Tough Global Foundation. They have come up and really decided to help us make sure that the hard-earned money that was raised in the diaspora as well as in country is put into good use.
Solo Sandeng was a fearless political activist who stood against the Jammeh dictatorship. In April 2016, Mr. Sandeng paid a heavy price after leading a protest at Westfield calling for electoral reform. He was arrested and tortured to death.
Para que veja a cata de uma secundária para que foi a jam era social o falei que dura bolso agora fumo que nem muito em massa secundária.
Mr. Sandeng had bought a land in Brufut and had started building a house on it. He lost his life well before he could see out the project.
Solo, like every great father and loving husband and caring parent, held the ultimate dream of one day building a dream home for his young family and lovely wife. Unfortunately, Solo could not realize that wonderful dream of his due to ultimate sacrifice paid when he stood up for a bigger dream of a better Gambia. Today we stand on the very ground on which Solo toiled and sweated as he sought to provide a dream home for his family. Solo made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. He gave his life so that you and I can live in a better Gambia. Not only does he deserve to be remembered, but we all owe it to him to keep alive his dream of bringing fruition of some of his dreams, finishing this poem.
The GoFundMe for Solo Sandeng housing project raised $884,000. The project had been estimated at least $1.5 million, and MAP Contractors is the company contracted with completing the house. Mr. Sandeng's family is full of gratitude and appreciation to everyone who chipped in towards the project.
I just want to outline a few things about this house, and that is to say it is going to house my siblings and of course myself and my mother, which makes it a very important initiative or a very important endeavor for me. So I would want to thank each and everyone that made it possible. I mean, for us to start building this house. I thank you all. I just want to outline also the importance of the GoFundMe and the donations that led, to the starting of this project. They are very important as they are geared towards giving a home to a family of 9 people, most of whom are school-going children below the ages of 20.
The Sandeng family now have everything to be thankful for, as Solo's dream looks set to become reality. Thank you. So the awards committee of the Fatu Network Heroes Award for 2019 has announced that nominations are now open for the 11 categories that are up for grabs from 31st of January 2020 to Friday 14 February 2020. The general public can nominate any qualified persons, groups or institutions for any of the 11 categories. So I'm joined by Fatu Kamara. Fatu, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Lamin. Just like you rightly said, the awards committee have announced nominations, and that actually started yesterday, the 2nd of February. And it will go all the way to the 14th. And I have seen a whole lot of people on social media saying on Facebook on the comment section that they've nominated so and so person. If you nominate a person on Facebook on the comment section, that will not count. So I just want to tell everybody who's watching this program that all they need to do is to go onto the website, which is tfnheroes.com. And if you go on there, there's a form that a nomination form on there. That's where you nominate your hero and then submit it. And then the awards committee will have access to that one.
Someone might wonder why this award. What is it all about?
Well, I have said to a few people who ask me this question that in the Gambia, we do not honor our people. I am not saying everybody, some people do, but majority of the Gambians don't do that. And we have a lot of people who are putting in a lot of effort when it comes to country
yes.
or about their communities. Yes. So I think it is time for somebody to step up and say we're going to honor those people who are working really hard. Because what that does is also motivate a lot of other people who are watching from behind. They could say, okay, next year, let me put in extra effort, and that way I may also be able to win the Man of the Year or the Woman of the Year award. So this is actually to motivate people and to also say thank you very much for the efforts that you're doing for country and for your community.
And also the categories 11. That's quite a handful.
Yes, I actually was thinking 7. You know, when I started, when this idea came, I actually wanted 5, not more than 7. But the awards committee sat over this. As you know, they're very independent from the Fatu Network. They said, no, 5 or 7 would not be enough. So they decided to go with 11, and they came up with all the categories. But even with 11, I still have people call me saying, why is sports not included? Why is STEM not in there, you know, science and technology? So I have people coming in still, they want more, but we cannot do more than 11. And also remember, out of the 11, we're also doing special awards, which is going to be 3 special awards that we're giving out, and that's with 11, one that somebody has to be nominated to win that one.
So how does it work? The issue of nomination to the awards, how does it all, should I go to the awards committee and ask them that question? Do you have an idea?
Well, I think what they actually put out, part of the statement that you were reading, What they said on there is that right now it's open for every Gambian to nominate someone, because maybe I may know Lamin Jai is doing a great job, but there's somebody in Kiang Rokang who is doing a lot, and I may not know that person. That's why we said this is open to the Gambians. If you are in Quinella, you are in Wurokang, we just want you to put in the names of the people that you think should be the man of the year or the woman of the year. So once all of that is sent in, we're thinking maybe we may have, after the nomination, we may have up to maybe 20 or 30 people in each category. So that's where the awards committee will come in now and cut that down to at least 4 in each category.
Per category.
Yeah, so 4 would be in each, that would be the final. And then with that 4, from the 17th of February, we will start the SMS voting. That is when people will be able to text and vote for these people. And when it comes to the decision of the award committee, I think they said 40% will be based on SMS and 60% will be based on who they choose. They'll have to go through.
So the nomination period is 2 weeks, from the 2nd to the 14th of February,
yes.
and then from there.
From the 17th to the 10th of March, that is when we will do the SMS voting as well. And then after that one, the committee will get together and choose, because that's why if you look at the nomination form, it says, why are you nominating this person? What did they do? So you will have to fill that in as well, and then they will follow up and try to find out that information. And if that person wins, then yeah, they win.
So one has to go to the website,
Yes.
website. A link?
Yes, for right now there is a link there at the, if you go to tfnheroes.com, it's TFN like the Fatu Network, heroes.com. If you go in there, there's a form that says nominate a hero.
Nominate a hero.
Yeah, so you follow that form. I think all you have to do is to put in an email address or something. I actually didn't even do that yet. I'm not sure if I can nominate someone. But then that's where you go and then you put that in. But I also want to take the opportunity to say that the First Lady of Sierra Leone has confirmed that she will be in the country to grace this occasion. Her office actually wrote to us to say the First Lady will be here and that she's honored to support this event. So we have that confirmation, and hopefully tomorrow we will start taking out the letters. It's a corporate event, so we're going to be selling tables, but this is a very, very expensive event to run, because most of the time people will ask, why are you selling tables? What are you going to do with the money? The money we're putting in, I think we discussed the budget is over $4 million. That's what is going to go into this program. The event is going to be held at the Cocoa Ocean. And we're also going to give part of the money that we're getting, at first we wanted to give it to the healthcare, but then remember the awards committee said, why don't we give it to the winners of, for instance, the man of the year and the woman of the year, and ask what causes they're supporting, and then we will give them cash money so they can go and put this into whatever cause that they're supporting. So the letters will be out tomorrow, inshallah. You will receive the letters, and then we're looking forward to selling at least 70 tables.
The awards committee is also talking about people dropping off nomination packages. Is that also possible for those who cannot nominate online?
Yes. For instance, if you are Badibunka who don't know how to use a website or online, you cannot get online like Binta. So what you can do...
My wife is watching.
Yes, like your wife Binta. I know she's Badibunka. So what you can do is to drop off an envelope. You can nominate whoever you want to nominate. Drop it off at the Fatu Network. We're right across from the U.S. Embassy, and then we'll pick it up, and then we will take a look at it and submit it to the awards committee. As you know, they're independent. So they don't even want me to forward anything to them. So we're going to have a box downstairs. If you put your nomination in the box, we're just going to hand them the box. And that's it. We cannot open it, and we cannot also see what is inside.
What else do you have to say?
Well, just to say the event is going to be at the Cocoa Ocean. It's going to be on the 14th of March, and we want everybody to come. We've sent invitations. There are some that we're inviting. They're not paying to get in, and that includes government ministers. This is because, for instance, we have the... Is it Health Worker of the Year something?
Health, yeah.
Yeah, so because of that, we will invite the health minister. And because we have agriculture, we also invite agriculture. And what's the other one? Education is there, so we will invite education. So we're not inviting all the ministers. We're inviting only a few of them. And also the members of the diplomatic community. We're also inviting some of them, I think 7 or 8 of them. So that is how it's going to be. It's going to be free for some, but it's a corporate event. We're expecting companies, institutions, and organizations to buy table. So the rest of it, people are asking about individuals. I'm not sure about that yet, but we will update that as soon as we get that information.
Massive event. Thank you, Fatu.
Yes, it's going to be a big event, inshallah.
Thank you.
God willing.
God willing. Thank
Yes.
you, Fatu. Thank you.
Thanks.
So we will be right back. We'll take a break and then the news review continues. Thank you very much. So have you ever imagined a Gambia where cannabis use is decriminalized? Cannabis is the most common illegal drug in the country, and every year tens of tons of cannabis is consumed by Gambians, most of them young people. Hundreds of our youth also land themselves in trouble in their dealing with this drug there. This could either come in the form of trafficking or the simple consumption of the drug. Gambian youths most of the time complain that cannabis isn't that bad and that it should be legalized. And now we have a new group that has emerged to campaign for the decriminalization of cannabis in the Gambia. Decriminalization of cannabis, that's DOC 2020, that's the name of the group. And I am joined by their public relations officer, Mr. Pa Modu Mbow. Now, Mr. Mbow, yes. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
So, the decriminalization of cannabis, DOC 2020, tell us, how did this group come about?
Well, it came, I will have to greet you first, Lavi.
Of course,
Thank you very
go
much,
ahead.
and our esteemed listeners and viewership. Yes, DOC 2020 came about, us trying to find a solution to our current predicament in terms of government, our economy, in terms of health, and also socially, like the youths that you're talking mention, who are incarcerated for just working a herb, a natural herb. Then we came up with the idea that we have to come together, get registered, as a legal entity, so that we can go around with the necessary government authorities and probably the security arm, to go around the country and sensitize to the people, the benefits of decriminalizing cannabis, because the stigma are attached to it, we know, and the negative connotations. But none of that, that's not fair, even for cannabis, because cannabis doesn't cause all that. But it has been, used, to give way to alcohol and cigarettes, which are more deadly, which are more, which creates more crimes, domestic violence, road accidents and death, everywhere you go in the world. So we are saying for us to decriminalize cannabis for three main reasons. And one will be socially. Two, it will be health-wise, for medical reasons. And three, for the economic reasons. So this brought us together. And I can go into those segments if you...
Oh, yes, at some point we will go into these three reasons that you have advanced. Mm-hmm. But a very vexed problem, this issue of cannabis use in the country. It is the most popular illegal drug in the country. A lot of young people use this drug. But what we have seen over the years is that the abuse of this drug has been massive, has been quite huge. And there is a fight, a sustained effort on the part of the government to ensure that people do not, deal in this drug. People don't abuse this drug. And then here you are saying, no, this drug should be legalized. And you said there are economic reasons to it, there are health reasons to it. But then the government doesn't see it that way at all.
Well, I mean, you are talking about drug. Cannabis is not drug. Well, it's a medicinal drug, but it's not a hard drug. The hard drugs cause the problems. And you and I know, everybody knows that they are in the street. There was just recently a container full of cocaine. Where is it? We never saw them paraded on TV to show them that, this is a hard drug. Now, what is the cannabis? Cannabis is not drug as in hard drug. Cannabis is a medicinal drug. Hence, I gave you the three: social, medical, and economical. Which
but hard drug would be any drug that makes someone high, for example, right?
No. Hard drug will be something that will kill somebody, that will drive you to commit suicide or murders or capital crimes. Because
you are saying cannabis doesn't do that?
No, cannabis doesn't do that. Cannabis, the prohibition of cannabis led to even people taking hard drugs. Because right now, if I want to go to the nightclub to enjoy myself, to have fun, or I want to go to a reggae festival, everybody knows what goes around in reggae festival. So if I don't have the access to marijuana, to smoke marijuana, I will have to use a pill, or I will have to use a hard drug, a heroin, some kind of substance, to get me into the groove, because those things, they don't smell. You cannot take the smell. So obviously, they just use it as a smoke screen. So whereby, if cannabis was decriminalized, which we are not talking about the recreational value right now, at this juncture, we are talking about decriminalizing it for these purposes. That is, for economic reasons, for medical reasons, and also for the social reasons. Because our kids are incarcerated. They are exposed to every kind of criminality. For just smoking weed, you associate that young person, whether it's male or female, to murderers, to rapists, pedophiles. They will learn any kind of criminality in jail. So imagine, when is that young person or those young people, when are they going to be productive citizens? This is what we are saying, no. At least that was the end part.
But imagine in a country where people's level of awareness in respect of this drug is very limited. If you look at the Gambian youth, the typical Gambian youth who deals in marijuana, the way he goes about using this drug, I mean, it's questionable, has clearly is faulty, because you cannot be sitting there and just be abusing this drug like anyhow.
No, it's nothing like that. You see, the prohibition caused that. The prohibition itself, it caused that.
It is the reason that that is why
it will bring some kind of criminality, because mankind is defiant. That's why we have laws. If mankind wasn't defiant, why would we have laws? Mankind is defiant. If you say you are prohibiting this, and somebody wants to use it, they have to go somewhere and do it. So imagine, like the example that I gave you. If I want to go out and have fun, and I cannot smoke cannabis in public, I will smoke cannabis in my house if there is no authority to stop me. But when I go out, I will deal with hard drugs, which nobody can take the smell. So that is actually what causes the crimes.
So is it about the fun? Is it smoking weed? Is it about fun, having fun?
No,
what is it about?
No. Fun is one part of it, but the medical part of it is there too, because for epilepsy, there are so many.
But those taking this drug are not epileptic patients, for example.
These
are just normal people whose health are intact.
Yes, maybe smoking it stops them from having it. And if you boil it or use it.
But one cannot be taking a drug or a medicine when one is not sick, right?
Yes,
when one is not sick of that.
No. Sometimes
illness.
Sometimes people will just take some vitamin tablets. You're not ill. You just need some vitamins in you.
No, vitamin just boost your.
Thank you very much.
System.
What can boost your system more than the cannabis? Well, if it is regulated. We are not talking about.
You are talking about the regulated one.
Of course.
But in this country, we don't have that.
No, we will have that.
The way cannabis is used is not regulated.
No.
Someone can take like maybe 10 in a day, 10 joints in a day.
You are not just listening to me.
Yes.
People here in the country here, there are Gambians who never drink alcohol. And there is Jul Brew. Detrimental to your liver, to my heart, to everything, to my health. Domestic abuse, accidents on the road, scientifically proven. And it's here. Most people never drink alcohol. And it's here. Cigarette, it says on the packet, smoking kills. But hey, listen, you can send a 6-year-old or 7-year-old to go to the shop and buy a cigarette for you. You cannot do that in America. You can't do that in England. You can do it anywhere else around, the Western world. But we here, we can send our 5-year-old, 6-year-old to go and buy a cigarette for us. Actually, go to the bar and buy me a bottle of beer. It's right there. And they are all lethal, more lethal than cannabis. The government is not making no money apart from taxing them. This is what we are saying. Decriminalize cannabis. We have the regulations intact because we are working with the Drug Control Act of 2003. We are not going anywhere outside the boundaries of the law.
How efficient is that going to be, the issue of government decriminalizing it and then regulating?
It will be very efficient. For instance, Ghana, they just signed a deal, a $56 million deal, yeah, to supply a state in America. Uganda, they signed a $16 billion per annum deal with Canada to supply Canada and Germany.
But it's not decriminalized in their country.
No,
this
it's
is just
yes, okay. It's not legalized, but it has been decriminalized. They are not smoking it in the street, but they are cultivating it for export purposes. This is where the economic side comes in. The economical side.
But they are barring their citizens from taking this drug.
It's not wrong, because if it was wrong, the 13 states in the United States will not legalize it. Take, for example, Holland in Europe, the most peaceful country in Europe. You don't even hear anything like fighting and killing, and 0%. Because they legalize it. You go maturely to a coffee shop like you are going to a bar as a responsible man. Yeah? Go and buy your alcohol. Sit down there, drink it. Finish drinking, start your car, go home. Now you can do the same thing with cannabis. You go, that is if we go to that side. We are not talking about the recreational side yet, because that is on the back burner. It's not even on our agenda. Our agenda here is the medical side, the social side, and the economic side. The SME we were talking about.
Don't you think the environments are different? Because in a country such as Holland, for example, people's level of understanding when it comes to some of these things are very high. And then you look at a third world country like the Gambia and you say, okay, we are decriminalizing it. How are our youth going to react to that?
Well, of course.
How are they going to manage that?
Oh, come on. They will welcome the whole idea. Because you know why? They're not going to go to the back way. They will not. They will not go back on the back way. And most certainly, they are going to stay here and make their own money. They make their grass greener here in this country. And they will not be incarcerated, because we need them. We need them to reinforce our workforce.
That is also a convergence of consensus that this drug is harmful. In most African countries you go to, you don't find this drug legalized.
It's not a drug. Banned. It's not a drug.
But they call it a drug.
That's
what they call it.
The imperialists. Can you imagine the pharmaceutical industry? Do you want to genuinely tell me that the pharmaceutical industry, knowing very well the importance of medical marijuana, why would they want to decriminalize it or legalize it? It's not to their advantage. It's not to their advantage. And suddenly, this is for Africa. This is us. It grows here. It doesn't grow there. So if they legalize it, we are going to be making the foreign exchange to come into our own countries. That will develop us. They don't want that. Do you want to genuinely tell me that Uganda, they're not happy with that 16 billion contract they have per annum? Gambia went to EU to beg for money. 1.4 billion, I don't know, 1.6 billion.
Yes.
You can make that with marijuana and export it. And the youths that we are incarcerating, we rehabilitate them and put them in the workforce. That way we are promoting agriculture. Because anybody who's going to be issued license to grow cannabis, 50% of your produce will be agricultural produce that we will be consuming. Then the 50% will be cannabis. This is how we want to lay, so that we make modernize agriculture. We make the young people want to do agriculture, see the benefits of doing agriculture. And this is our point.
Yes.
But not to sit down in the street and be smoking and causing. No, nothing like that. We will be working with all the relevant authorities, especially the security apparatus, regarding to control it, because we are using right now the DCA, the Drug Control Act 2003. That's what we are working on.
So now let's also talk on the legal side of things. I know we briefly talk about it, this issue of it can cure certain illnesses, or yes, but also what we have seen, because a few years ago I was at Tanka, and then the health experts there said 60% of our youth there who are mentally not okay is caused by this drug cannabis. So what do you have to say to that?
That is not proven. That was just something that they say. A family member will come and say like, oh yeah, keep this guy here for us. You know, he's always working the way. That is not proven. I tell you, drug cannabis will never make any human being mad.
Really?
Allah has never made anything that will destroy a human being. And certainly it's not cannabis. Because cannabis is natural. There is nothing artificial about it. Nothing. I'm not talking about the kush that they're making somewhere else.
Yes.
I'm talking about the cannabis that we are talking about, that we own here. That's natural. Allah has never made anything that will harm human being.
So
nothing.
are you saying that
from the seed, you can have oil for your hair, our hair, make hemp oil. From even the sticks, you can boil for asthma. It kills you, man, bro. You don't even need to go to hospital. Ask all our grandparents. They're using it right now. People are using it here in the Gambia. Young girls, they're using it with asthma to cure them. They make cakes out. There are so many consumables that they make out of marijuana, which is medically sound. Even menstruation. They have everything now, everywhere in the world. Ghana, our neighbor in the sub-region, they just signed a $56 million contract. Uganda did the same. Zambia, the latest one, they did the same. Decriminalize it. What are we waiting on? Who got now better solution to economic viability and create employment, you know, and get our youth out of incarceration better than to decriminalize cannabis? There is no better solution. We are coming up with solutions because there is a problem here, a growing problem in our economy. There are no jobs. As a result of that, our kids are embarking on this back way, perish in the sea. Some of the ones that are even lucky to succeed, they are in concentration camps. For God's sake, we need them. We need them to manure our land so that the grass will be greener.
So are you saying that our health experts are deliberately peddling a false narrative? That,
it has been so for God knows how long.
It makes someone run mad, for example.
I swear to God, it has been so. It has been so for God knows how long. You see the ones that are in Tanka. Even marginalization from the household will cost that more than marijuana. You are my younger brother in the house. You are the one. You are the breadwinner. I don't win any bread. You think the family will treat me better than you?
So you are saying that is what makes them
most of them yes, because that is very stressful. If I was your brother and you are the breadwinner, you know, even if you are not in the house, your food is kept. Me, if I'm not present during lunchtime, I will not eat. Do you know how depressing that is? Do you know how mental torture that is? You are giving priority to my younger brother than me, the older brother. Probably maybe he's more successful than I am. These are some of the things, and also the prohibition that they put attached to cannabis will lead them to hard drugs. Those hard drugs are easier to make them crazy than cannabis. I see people who smoke cannabis from childhood to death. They are here. They're never crazy. They've never been to hospital even for whatever reasons, let alone to a psychiatric unit. That's the stigma attached to it. So we have to believe it, because that's the mental slavery. That's what mental slavery does. It makes you discard what you own, the good things that we own. We discard them, but we welcome the ones that they clearly spell smoking kills, which is cigarette. It's accessible. You can send your 5-year-old child to go and buy it here. And you dare not do that. Even a 16-year-old will not buy a cigarette in a shop in England or America. You have to be over 18. So you understand, even with alcohol as well. So with Gambia, you know, our kids are buying them. They have access to it simply because they are prohibiting the one that we own, the one that will cure them, the one that will tranquilize them. We prohibit that. So that will lead them to find their highness somewhere else, to find their energy somewhere else. That's exactly what is happening.
But still, cannabis, it is shrouded in a lot of rejection. Even our religion, for example, our scholars would preach and say, hey, yamba bahut, yamba never haram, yamba is not good. No, they would also say that. They would also preach against Sangara too.
No,
but they will tell you, they will tell us.
Do you drink?
I don't drink.
You don't drink alcohol?
I don't
Why?
drink. I don't drink.
Why?
Because I don't.
Thank you very much. So alcohol, cannabis can be decriminalized, and still people are going to do it, or people who don't want to even go into that avenue will let it be.
But you have to also understand that dependence is higher on cannabis than
that is where the revenue is. That's where the revenue is, because Julbru here cannot give us 16 billion. They can't. But cigarette cannot give us that. The cigarette owners, companies will make that money. The Gambia government will make only tax.
But you don't think that this is going to be suicide on the part of the government politically, for the government to just stand one day and say we are decriminalizing?
No.
How are our religious leaders going to interpret that?
No, then
how are they going to interpret that?
Then that would be the time I myself would declare our religious leaders to be hypocrites.
Why would you do that?
Because Julbru is here. We have a factory that's making alcohol, which is more deadly than cannabis. We have cigarettes in our doorsteps, every street, in every corner, which is more deadly, is highlighted. Smoking kills. And you want to tell me that you legalize that, and you illegalize a natural herb that scientifically, in our group we have doctors from MRC, we have doctors in America, in England, who are part of this group. We have medical proofs, scientific proofs of the cures of marijuana. The whole world is using it right now. The whole world. I mean England, America, Italy, you name it. They all embark on it. Now even Africa, Zambia, Uganda, Ghana, our neighbor. They've seen the benefit in these countries. So why do we have to still stop in the road, that, oh, cannabis does this, that, and the other? No. Cannabis is a medical drug. Cannabis is not a hard drug.
All these countries that you are mentioning, they would buy this marijuana, this cannabis in large quantities, and then take it to various labs, and then take certain drugs out of it, certain medicine out of it. Not necessarily.
Now you're talking about medicine.
Medicine, yes,
of course. Thank you very much.
But not necessarily to allow us to open up society where, I mean, young people can have access to smoke as much as they want.
That's not even what we are talking about. That's what I said that earlier on.
That's what I'm saying. In our society, that is the problem. No. And that is what has not been allowed.
No, listen. I've said earlier on, the recreational part of it is on the back burner. It's not even on our agenda. We are not talking about legalizing it. We're talking about decriminalizing it, whereby we will be able to export it. We will also be able to get the medicinal side of it, which you just made mention. Yes. And also, we will have our youth incarcerated for just smoking a joint. We will have them, rehabilitate them, and let them join the workforce.
So now it looks like there is going to be a massive sensitization in that respect.
Oh yes.
Because I mean, like I said, it is a country where people's level of...
It's starting now.
It's starting now.
Because this is a famous network. So obviously it starts now.
Of course,
it kicks off from here. From here we are going to every
Then and there they will
understand. We are not only going to stop there. We're going to go to them. Up to Koina.
Okay. And also, any decriminalization, still on the religious leaders, they will have to play a major role, because these are people who have a lot of influence in our societies.
Right.
And if government is to embark on any decriminalization effort, they must engage these people.
Of course.
How are you going to convince these people?
Oh,
when you meet
really,
them,
very
how are you
easy.
going to convince them?
Very easy.
That, okay,
Very easy.
yamba, they
very
allow
easy. I
society.
swear to Allah, I can put my hand on the Quran that most of them, they smoke or they smoked before.
You mean our religious leaders?
Of course, they were boys at some point.
But most of these people spend their childhood in
madrasas
and in Islamic schools.
Come
So
on,
you want to tell me
in those schools, more than me and you. In those schools, they know it more than me and you. There is no religious imam or leader who will stand in front of me and criminalize cannabis and legalize alcohol. I will not listen to you. I will not take.
No, but they never do that. They will tell you that the alcohol is bad. This one too is bad.
Alcohol is legalized. It's in our streets, in every street. Cigarette is in every street. They are all more deadly than alcohol, than cannabis. More deadly. That is the survey. That is the survey already. 0 deaths for cannabis. There is nobody who died under the influence of cannabis. Nobody. But there are people who died on smoking cigarette, lung cancer, this, that, and the other. Alcohol, so many accidents, domestic violence. You just name it. You just name it. But those are legal.
In our societies too, our boys, for example, you see them on the street smoking, and then there will be petty crimes. In those petty crimes, yes. in those vicinities, yes. People will say, okay, this area is prone to petty crimes, stealing, and then, you know, all of these petty crimes. And people pin that.
Cannabis
some people pin that on cannabis.
Cannabis don't do that. This is what I'm saying. It's a scapegoat. There was a container of drug, heroin, just a while ago. Who is talking about it now? Who have ever paraded those guys who were the culprits? But
those are rare incidents.
It's not confiscated. Those are in our street. This hard drugs is making them to have their problem. It's creating all the problems. Because the hard drug, the more you have money, the more you need it anyway. That's a hard drug for you. It's more expensive. So if you go if you go to an extent whereby you don't have money any longer, you can go and commit a crime in order to get the money to buy that. Cannabis will never do that.
But cannabis no. If you are addicted to it and you don't have money, it becomes a problem, right?
Listen to me. Cannabis will never propel you to go and commit some crime. I'm not ruling it out that it never happened or it will not happen, but it is just the stigma attached to it. If cannabis was decriminalized, right, like alcohol and cigarette, honestly, people like you and me who don't drink or who don't smoke, we will treat it the same. We are looking at the economic viability. We are talking about our social, these are all problems that we're going to solve. Because once you decriminalize it, you are curbing crimes and criminality. Because right now, if
clearly the government,
if you arrest me now,
that way.
Well, how many young people have they arrested so far? A lot. That doesn't stop cannabis from being cultivated. It never stops. It will go on because it's a natural thing.
But man naturally is inclined to commit the same crime, even if you arrest them. But so man is
that's
like
what
that.
I'm saying.
Like
the criminality attached to it and the negative connotation with the stigma causes all those crimes. Because you could have just easily go to a coffee shop. That is if we legalize it. You can go to a coffee shop like you go into a bar. You buy your spliff or do whatever, roll it, smoke, and then go about your business. Just like the guy going to the bar to drink alcohol.
So let me bring you back then, your group, Decriminalization of Cannabis, DOC 2020. You have registered your group now, and I understand you engaged the government. What did they tell you?
Well, actually we don't engage the government yet. We've talked to, just from the SG's office, the Solicitor General's office, that's where we came from, just to talk to them. We can get dialogue because our dialogue starts, our job starts now that, we are legally registered. We are not going out there in the street to protest or to demonstrate or to do any nonsensical thing. We are not going to do that. Let nobody expect that. We are going in the professional way to talk to the government and our lawmakers so that they understand the economic viability in this, the social benefits, as well as the medicinal benefit. These are our major concerns as a solution to our current predicament here in the country, because there is no jobs. We are having fake medicines. They are giving license to pharmacists. They are bringing us drugs that are killing us. We can do something about it. But through decriminalizing this, because you said it earlier on, that the medicinal side of it is extracted. And so let's use that medicine. Let's use our own medicine. Let's cure ourselves. If we are waiting for the conventional medicine to cure us, we are just their guinea pigs. Because one medicine will treat you and give you a side effect. In order to get that side effect, you need another medicine. That will give you another side effect. So when are you going to be properly okay? You will not be. You will be a guinea pig.
My problem still has to do with the young people, the youth who abuse this drug. You intend to engage them.
Yes.
But then this is a lot of work on your part.
Don't worry about it.
Because what it could also do, it could put a lot of pressure on the law enforcement, on the police, on the drug law enforcement agency in fighting, cannabis, or in fighting whatever illegal drug that we have. Because if you meet these young people whose level of awareness is not that very high, and you tell them that, oh, we are campaigning for the decriminalization of marijuana, they might take advantage of that and say, okay, look, and here is a group, or here are citizens who are saying that now we have a right to use this drug as we want.
No, that's not what we are saying.
They might misinterpret. That's what I'm saying. That is where the problem is.
We understood the negative stigma. We understood every stigma that is attached to cannabis. The negative connotation. We know. What we are saying right now is the sensitization. It starts here. This minute. It has been going on social media. We have a page. We have an online petition for the lawmakers. People are signing the petition.
Because we are
doing sensitization, so to speak, at the moment in the social media. So all we need to do right now, we were waiting on our legality, so that will be a legal entity to go around, to have the mandate of going around and sensitize people. We don't want even the government to decriminalize it without us finishing with our sensitization. We are working with the government on this. We are going to, and all these security apparatus as well. We are using the DCA 2003, the Drug Control Act 2003. That's what we are working with. We are going to be working on that frame.
Yes.
Right. So it means, we are going through the right channels. We could have done this prior to being registered, but no, we have to wait until we are registered, so that we can start talking to the people, so that they can relax. Relax in the sense that, they will understand the stigma attached to it, the negative connotations, which really we're gonna make it that those information will be available to the general public. Honestly, we are going all the way to Korea. Honestly, that's what we're gonna do.
So this group, did you have any like plan of action? Let's say in 2020, for example, what do you want to achieve?
Well, in 2020, that's why we have DOC 2020. 2020 is our time frame, because everything
for the decriminalization itself to happen.
Yes, to happen, because obviously you need to have a target. You don't just wake up from your house and start going. No, you have to know, I'm going to Fatu network. So at least you have a target. So at least you find an easy way of going to Fatu network. So this is exactly what happened. We have a time frame, and that is within this 2020. From January we started to December, because we are presenting to the government our findings, our the signatures that people sign online and even offline, and also the result of our sensitization countrywide, because we intend to do that with the security forces. That is the ones that are relevant to what we are doing, and already we've been granted that on the sidelines. So now we are ready, because we are registered. So that will be. So our plan of actions really is from here, from the registration. We have our press conference, let everybody know that this is exactly what is happening, what is going on. Then we will take it from there. As soon as we get the numbers of our signatures that we need, we present that to the lawmakers.
So who are you working with? Because what you are saying, this nationwide sensitization, it's going to require money. So who are you working with?
We are working as a team. That's a team we have. We have executive body. We have
but your source of funding, who is funding?
No, our source of funding is going to come from us. We are funding ourselves because this is nothing to do with an outsider or somebody from outside to tell us do this. No, we are using our own senses. We are finding solutions to the economic to the problems of the country, economically, health-wise, and as well socially too. So these are the major concerns for us, and this is why hence the reason why we embark on this, and we have no intention of backing down. We have no intention of going in the street to demonstrate or to do any whatnot. We want to do it professionally. We go through the right channels. We talk to the lawmakers, present them, our findings and our signatures, for them to do it. We are waiting on them. We are ready to work with them. We are talking about economic viability. For God's sake, this is not for me. It's not for the group. It's for the Gambia. Because the ones that are perished in the sea, none of them are my family. But I don't want to see my brothers and sisters to perish in the sea just for a greener pasture, when they can do it here in their own country.
By becoming marijuana farmers?
Well, of course, not only marijuana farmers, because like our plan is, if you are going to be issued a license, it's not going to be 100% marijuana. It has to be with agricultural produce that we consume here in the Gambia as well, 50-50. So that way, that will modernize agriculture here in the Gambia, and also it will entice the young people to want to do it over risking their life in the back way. So at least we are providing solutions to even enhance the agricultural sector. I think the agricultural minister, so we are doing, in a nutshell, we are doing her job. We are trying to promote agriculture. We want everybody to come, like the youth people before they are incarcerated. We can easily give them work to do. And the government will be making money. They will be millionaires here in their own country, millionaires. Because this is a $1 trillion, $2 trillion industry a day. Only the food industry is as mega as this. Canada, when they legalize it, in 48 hours, they run out. That's why they have to contract Uganda, for Uganda to grow it for them. Yes. There you go. So that's 16 billion in their coffers. Before Gambia go to EU begging for money or whatever, pledging, for them to be twisting our arms and asking us to allow gay marriage and all whatnot, we can do it ourselves here. That's what we want to do. We want to look after ourselves. We don't want to rely on people. My brother, we don't want that. We want to get on with things. We want to sort our own problems out here, socially, economically, and medically as well.
Do you have anything else to say?
Well, I'm just going to thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to come and just hear that, for the people to hear us out in your famous network. And I also would like people just to relax. We are not urging people to go out in the street and be smoking and stuff. If you do, the law enforcement will deal with you. Right now, we are talking about to decriminalize cannabis so that we can grow cannabis here in the Gambia for 2 reasons. 1, to export. 2, for medical purposes, right? And by extension, it will socially reorganize us, because the crimes that prohibition creates, we are going to curb that. We're going to curb that big time, and we will take responsibility for that. And history will judge us.
Mr. Pamulubo, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Lavi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
So that's Pamulumbo, the Public Relations Officer of Decriminalization of Cannabis, DOC 2020, speaking to us there. That's it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then.